this is my reaction to UFC 331, Joshua Van versus Pantoja 2, and Arman Tsarukyan versus Mauricio Ruffy, guys. Arman was supposed to fight Charles Oliveira, guys, at UFC 331, but we all heard the bad news about the fighter, Alan Nascimento. He dies of apparent heart attack, guys. This is a tragedy. Apparently, through some speculation, we heard he had a bad weight cut at his last weight cut. He's had illnesses over his career, but some guys are speculating that, the heart attack came on strong after this last weight cut. That's neither here nor there. He was a great submission artist. This guy was a great friend of Charles Oliveira. There's multiple pictures of him in his corner. They're longtime training partners. So that's why Charles Oliveira is pulling out of this fight, guys. Tragic loss, man. Praying for his family and everything. Tragic. But with the card that we have now, we got in the main event, we got Joshua Van versus Alexandre Pantoja. This is the second fight rematch. The first one ended really quick with the snapping of the elbows, guys. And then the co-main event, we got Arman Tsarukyan versus Mauricio Ruffy. This is going to be a banger of a fight. In my opinion, this is going to be a much better fight. I believe that this one's going to be a stand and bang fight. I think that Mauricio Ruffy is going to be able to stay on the outside, and he's going to be really tough to get down. If he can stay on the feet, he can defeat Arman Tsarukyan with that elite striking that he has. So that's going to be a heck of a fight. Got Doo-Ho Choi taking on Patricio Pitbull. He gets his call out after the Superboy finishes his last opponent in his fight. He calls out Pitbull. He gets that matchup, finally breaks into that top 15. Got Alonzo Menifield taking on Iwo Berenivsky. This guy nukes people, absolutely drops haymakers on everybody. That's going to be a good fight. He's breaking into the top 15 as well. We got Gable Stevenson making a quick turnaround after International Fight Week, that win he had over Alicia Ellison. He's facing Sean Sharaf, another American, in this bout. These guys are going to be throwing hands here. And then we got Marlon Vera taking on Charles Jourdain. This is going to be a chance for Charles Jourdain to break into that top 10. So this is going to be a heck of a card, guys. But here's what I wanted to talk about. Arman Tsarukyan, guys. He just keeps on getting shafted by the UFC. He's been doing all these side quests. We know in his last fight against Dan Hooker, he head-butted Dan Hooker, broke his nose before the fight. And he's been doing all this wrestling stuff. And guys, he just keeps getting shafted. They did have the fight lined up for him to fight Charles Oliveira in this fight. And we all know it fell through. In the first fight, Charles Oliveira almost finished him on the ground. But ultimately, Arman won the decision. He came on late in that fight. So who knows how this fight would have went down. But in my opinion now, guys, he's facing somebody even more dangerous, in my opinion, in Mauricio Ruffy, guys. But a lot of people saying that Ruffy's just going to get taken down and destroyed in this fight. I could see that happening, but honestly, I think that Ruffy's been training with Volk and them guys over there. So I think he's going to be really buttoned up. And his takedown defense is a lot better. And I think that this is a chance for Ruffy to shock the world here. And this is a pick'em fight for me. I still think that Arman's able to just weather the storm and get through everything and get to the wrestling. But I think he does a lot of damage on the feet. So if you can't get him down quick, it's not going to go too well for him. But this is obviously like the UFC giving Arman the black sheep of everything right now. He's missed out on the title fights, and then they give him somebody below him again. He's not fighting up in the rankings. So I don't know. I don't think everything's going well with the PR. But, he's growing everything on Instagram, but, we want to see him fight for the title. So this is a very dangerous fight where he could drop way down in the rankings if he does get beat here. So this is going to be a very tough fight. Looking at the main event for UFC 331, guys, I really think that Joshua Van is probably going to win this fight. I think that he's been working on the wrestling. Had it been back then and they would have fought the first time when Joshua Van was kind of new, fresh to the wrestling, not as green on the ground, but he's went through Tatsuro Taira since then, and Tatsuro Taira almost finished him on the ground. So he's dealt with some guys that are really capable on the ground. Nobody's on Pantoja's level, but let's be honest. He hasn't been able to do as much grappling with that broken arm, so he's going to be coming in a little rusty, and then he's going to be trying to get everything buttoned up quick, and it could be a lot of stress on the body. So in my mind, I think 4th, 5th round, you see Joshua Van pull ahead and finish Pantoja on a ground and pound finish. Going to be another back and forth fight. That with a main event like this, not a superstar names on there, really. A lot of people know fighting, they know Pantoja, but not everybody's real knowing of these two guys. You got to stack this card. So a good co-main event like a Arman versus Ruffy, that's an amazing job for UFC to pull everything together. Overall, the card pulls. You got Do Ho Choi. That's a great fighter. He's going to stand and bang. Great boxing. Can withstand punishment. Pitbull, he's always going to scrap. You got Money Moicano versus Ortega. That's going to be a heck of a fight. Honestly, I'm taking Moicano in that fight. I believe his wrestling gets it done. Baranevsky, he's going to nuke this guy very quick against Minifield. Baranevsky's just a super talent. Gable Steamson's another guy that's just, you can count on, just going to run through this guy. Not really cracking a top 15 opponent. That's a shame there. Would rather see him fight up now. Then you got Chito Vera. I mean, you just got a lot. You got a lot on this card. So, ultimately, I think that 331. The news is big, guys. This is a huge card for the UFC. I do think that they was able to rebound pretty well after, losing Charles Oliveira and with the death of Alan Nascimento. Charles Oliveira couldn't fight like that. When you lose your best friend or lose somebody really close to you, it really does have an emotional toll on you. So I can understand why he has to pull back and make sure that everything's in line for his family and his friends' family. You got to be there for people. And when you're training for a fight, you got to be selfish. You got to focus on yourself, and you can't really be there for others. So I understand and I respect that move by Oliveira. So this is still going to be a good card. You got Arman taking on Mauricio Ruffy. And guys, if this fight plays out on the feet, it's going to be a long night for Arman Tsarukyan, because we know that Mauricio's got everything in the bag. He's a bigger Conor McGregor. He's crafty, wheel kicks, anything. He's going to be throwing it all. He knocked out Fiziev. He's knocked out Chandler. He just keeps knocking guys out. And Arman could be on that list too. So, ultimately, I think if this fight does wane on past the 3rd round, I think it starts to really tilt into Tsarukyan's favor. But the Brazilian is dangerous. And if he can't hold him down, Mauricio Ruffy's going to be putting some damage on Arman. So, it's going to be a great fight too. But ultimately, I think it goes to a decision for Arman or a ground and pound finish in the late 4th or 5th. And for Joshua Van, I think that he gets a 4th or 5th round ground TKO finish. So, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video. Peace.